So then, that was the 24 Hours Le Mans, and it was a good watch. It was enjoyable. It had action from start to finish. So let's run down a couple of different parts of this race, and let's start off with the winners, which are Ferrari, again. But it's not the 51. It's the 50 that ends up picking up the win here. Antonio Fuoco, Miguel Molina, and Nicholas Nielsen. Fuoco, who was part of the Ferrari Driver Academy for a while. Molina, who has been somebody who's been there and thereabouts, competing in various different series for AF Corsa for a few years now. And then Nicholas Nielsen, who again has been one of those who's been up and coming throughout with Ferrari. So this is a success for Ferrari's driver programs, because all of these people have been with Ferrari for years, and especially for the likes of, well, as I said, Fuoco and Nielsen, their younger driver pool. A lot of criticism goes towards Ferrari in Formula 1 because of the way that it signs people. And what this proves is that F1 is not the only end goal for Ferrari drivers. And I think that that is something that's a success in and of itself. In second place, it was the 7 car. The 7 car had a hell of a weekend. They didn't make it to Hyperpole because their laps got invalidated in qualifying following, was it Kobayashi calling a red flag? And then Nick De Vries crashed into the back of one of the Toyota Group stablemates in the warm-up, ran to the back of one of the Lexus cars. But they still finished second. Granted, the 8 had all of the bad luck this year. 2 punches, just as the kind of headline. I mean, the 7 wasn't necessarily without its issues. But to come from last in a uber competitive pack of hypercars, to finishing 15 seconds off the win at the end of it, it's just that little what could have been. The 51 absorbed the bad luck for Ferrari this season. Penalties for all kinds of different issues. Having to come into the pits for an open door. It looked like with 2-3 hours to go, Ferrari and Toyota were both doing everything in their power to not win the 24 Hours of Le Mans. But they still managed to make the podium, which Porsche didn't. The number 6 got 4th. Number 5 got 6th. But then, at the same time, perhaps one of the more impressive teams was Cadillac. And that 2 team who ran really well throughout. The other caddies all had different issues. Crashing out or reliability problems. But they weren't the worst for it in the hypercar class, because by 6 hours, we'd lost both the Alpines, both with engine failures. Peugeot are also going to be looking at a kind of what could have been. They're 11th and 12th. They were behind the lead Lamborghini, behind both of the Jotas, just about clear of the other Iron Lynx Lamborghini, the one driven by Caldarelli at the end, and then the Assetto Francini, which made it over 300 laps. They were only 9 laps down at the end of it. In the P2s, it was United Autosports who brought it back, and well done to them for doing that. It was 18 seconds over into Europol, and then EDEC was 33 seconds back, just 2 seconds clear of the AF Corsa LMP2 car. And then in the GTs, it went the way of Manthe EMA from WRT, who were closing them down really quickly towards the end of it. Wasn't it the 31? Yeah, who made that really audacious move towards the end of the race, going into the Dunlop chicane, and I think overtook 3 cars. And then you had Proton competition in 3rd. For a while, I mean, both of the Proton competitions finished in the top 4, because it was 4th for the 44. But for a while, it looked like that Mustang could win. And given the seasons that the Mustangs have been having, That was really good to see. The Iron Dame struggled with all kinds of different issues throughout the race, just ahead of the lead AF Corsa Ferrari. But there are all kinds of different battles to be watching throughout. I mean, the broadcast wasn't focusing much on the P2 battle, but the LMP2 battle was really intense at different phases. They focused mostly on the ones that are season round in the WEC. So, the Hypercar, the GT3. But yeah, I really enjoyed watching Le Mans this year, and it was quite easy to follow along with as well. The only thing that I wish we would have seen more of was the LMP2 battle. But I guess because they're already there for Le Mans, it wouldn't have happened as much. Or more reflections on the championship picture in WEC, because I've been following it quite loosely. But it would be nice to have that kind of update going through as well. Other stories that I did miss, and I'm sorry I've missed them, were ones such as, for example, with the 83 AF Corsa entry, which had been running so well, it was leading at different points. I mean, it was cool to see Robert Kubica leading Le Mans. But then, when Sportsman was driving it with only a few hours left, the engine, well, the hybrid let go. So, you can't just run around on the engine, because essentially what you're then running around with is the engine from the Ferrari GT3. So, that spelled the end of the day for the 83. But it was a fun race to look at and a fun one to see as a fan. The mass expansion of Hypercar, meaning that there are more Hypercar entries in WEC than there are slots in Formula 1, means that WEC is back in a golden era. I mean, Martin Haven was making a joke about even if a Dutchman was going to win with Van Thor, for example, you would be still seeing a more entertaining race than in F1. And given where the dying days of LMP1 was, given where the early days of Hypercar was, where you had like Toyota and Glickenhaus, it's great to see that the series is alive and well. But those are my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comment section down below. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you again soon. Bye for now.